cluster number 1, and this is my cluster number 2, Pro 2, and here this is my Argo CD application which is running in cluster number 2, kubectl get pod -n Argo CD. So there are a lot of applications running in this namespace. So I want to migrate this all the application to cluster 1. If you go here, kubectl get ns, so you're not able to see the Argo CD application here. You have only Veloro application which we have installed, and if you want to see Veloro get backup, so you can see here the backup when you run Veloro get backup, you can see the status of backup. So because we are using the same storage account, that's why but all the information, what all the data is there in this storage account is visible in both of the cluster. Because during the installation of Veloro, we have used the storage account, the same storage account. You can see here. Yeah, you can see during the installation of a Veloro tool, so we have used the same storage account, so that's why we haven't I haven't take the backup on this cluster. But you can see here when you run this Veloro get backup, you will get the information about all the backup data here. So let's take another one more backup for this namespace. So kubectl get ns, so I'm going to take the namespace dev. Let me see how many resources are there. So kubectl get all -n dev. So you can see a lot of applications running, like Tomcat application, web app application, and Jenkins application also running in this dev namespace. So let's take the backup of this namespace too, and then see the status of in the another cluster also. Like here we can see the backup status or not. Okay, so this is I'm on the cluster number 2. So kubectl cluster info, and this is my cluster 2. Let's clear the screen. Kubectl cluster info. This is my cluster number 1. Kubectl. So this is cluster 1 and this is cluster 2. Okay, so in cluster 2 we have so many namespaces are there. You can see the Argo CD and dev, and cluster 1 we have only there is no application are there. So get ns, and if you run this Veloro get backup, so here only 2 backup status are there. Here also only 2 because we have take only 2 backup. That's why Veloro get. So now I'm going to take backup of this namespace also. So let's run this command, Veloro backup create. So this is the command to take the backup. So I'm taking 016 namespace. I'm using here dev namespace. Okay, and we have defined the backup name. So here I have written dev full backup. Let's run this command and let's see. Veloro get backup. You can see it is in progress. Backup it is in progress, and you can see still it is in progress. Still it is in progress. Now you can see it's completed. So let's see in the another cluster it will be sync or not. So Veloro get backup, still it is not syncing, still not sync. Veloro get backup. So this is I am on the cluster number 1. Still not visible here. So we have to wait for a minute, and then we'll see the backup data will be visible there also, like in this way. The cluster number 2. If you see here, cluster info. So it's cluster number 2, and if you see here, cluster info, cluster number 1. Now let's see the backup. Still not. Maybe it will take some time. So Veloro get backup. You can also see the logs of the Veloro pod. So kubectl get pod -n. So this is the Veloro application pod. So we have to also check the logs. Kubectl logs, name of the pod -n Veloro. Need to be sync backup location info message. One backup in the backup location that do not exist in the cluster need to be sync. So it is still in syncing. So we have to wait for a minute. See here, backup sync. So now you can see my sync task has been completed, and you can see here my just few minutes ago we have taken the new backup, dev full backup, and now it's visible in both of the cluster. Veloro get backup. Okay, so now we have to restore the application from cluster 1 to cluster 2. Where is our diagram? So now in the both case Veloro has been set up. We have also taken the backup. Now our next task is to restoration from cluster 1 to cluster 2. So suppose this is Argo CD. Okay, now we are taking the migration from cluster 1 to cluster 2. So for that we have to run the restoration command. Okay. Veloro restore command. Yeah, so this is the command. I separate file Veloro restore. So status is finalizing, and you can see it's completed. So let's see status kubectl get ns. So now you can see Argo CD has been restored, and it is 21 seconds ago. So let's see the status of all the resources inside this namespace. So here you can see the pods are restoring, or the pods are up and running fine. Okay. Get ns kubectl get pod -n Argo CD. So we have to check why it is in cache loop, but the rest all the pods are up and running fine. And now you have restored the entire resource which is running in this namespace. Okay. So you can see what all the resource has been restored. Kubectl get all. So you have restored like all the service, they have restored all the deployment file. They have 5 deployments, so they have 5 replica set, and this is the stateful set. Okay, so you can also validate from here. This is the cluster number 2. So if you see kubectl get all, so you can see here the stateful set, the replica set, deployment. There are 5 deployments are there. There are a lot of service, load balancer service are there, and all the pods are there. So 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 6, and 7. 7 pods are there. So same here. You can see 3, 3, 6, and 7 pods are there. The stateful set and the deployment and the services all are restored. And kubectl get node. So 2 nodes are running there. So in this way you can migrate from cluster 1 to cluster 2. So you have to use the veloro command, and you have to follow the same process what I did. So in this way you can do the restoration from cluster 1 to cluster 2. And you can also check in the storage account. If you go there, storage account, go to container, go to bucket. This is my bucket name, and you can see here the restore, and restore prod 1 to prod 2. So here you can see the data from the restoration. So in this way you can migrate. That's why I have shown you like how to migrate